I need to get this off my chest because, honestly, I'm still trying to understand how everything fell apart so quickly, how telling the truth could cost me everything. My name is Kendra. I'm 36, and my world is in pieces because I did what people always say you're supposed to do. I was honest. I thought honesty would bring peace. I thought it would bring us closer. Instead, it tore us apart. Cole and I have been together since we were kids. High school sweethearts. First kiss. First love. First everything. He wasn't just my husband. He was my entire history, my safe place, my home. And maybe that's why this hurts so much. Because the moment I spoke my truth, he didn't give me even a second of grace. No benefit of the doubt. No space to breathe. The truth? I didn't cheat. I didn't live some double life. I didn't betray him. What I had was pain. Pain caused by someone we both trusted. His friend. My friend. A man who crossed a line I never thought he'd cross. And left me carrying shame that wasn't mine to carry. It happened 10 years ago at a New Year's party. Cole and I were already married, but that night he had to leave early for work. I stayed, surrounded by the faces we'd known our whole lives. Familiar, safe, or so I thought. His friend Derek had been drinking. I had too. Not enough to be drunk, just enough to feel light, a little careless. I remember stepping onto the porch for air. Derek followed. He laughed, joked, asked if Cole appreciated me. I brushed it off, thought he was being dumb, tipsy. But then he leaned in too close, said things he had no right to say, put his hand on my leg, tried to kiss me. I pushed him away, told him to stop. And he did eventually, but not before leaving me with that sick, twisted voice in my head. If you tell anyone, who's going to believe you? So I didn't tell anyone. Not because I had something to hide, not because I was guilty, but because I didn't want to be the reason Cole lost a friend. Because I didn't want to break what felt like family. Because part of me, wrongly, blamed myself. Maybe I smiled too much. Maybe I laughed at the wrong joke. Maybe I didn't shut it down fast enough. And then 10 years passed. 10 anniversaries. 10 birthdays. 10 Christmas mornings. And all that time, I carried it alone. It finally came out on a quiet night, during one of those deep, late conversations about trust, about secrets, about how we'd always told each other everything. And suddenly, I just couldn't hold it anymore. My voice cracked as I said it. I need to tell you something that happened a long time ago. And I told him, every word, not to stir up the past, not to start a fight, but because I couldn't carry the weight of it anymore. The silence after was louder than any scream. He stared at me like I was a stranger. Then he got up, walked into the kitchen, and didn't say a word. The next morning, he barely looked at me. No questions. No comfort. Just asterisk. So you waited 10 years to tell me, and now I'm supposed to just believe you? Asterisk. That was a dagger. Not what he said, but how he said it. Because suddenly it wasn't about what happened. It was about when I said it. He paced the floor, throwing out accusations I never thought I'd hear from him. Asterisk. How do I know you didn't invite it? Why stay quiet unless you felt guilty? You let me keep him in our lives. Asterisk. Yes, I let Derek stay in our lives. Because I didn't want to break Cole's trust. Because I didn't want to be the woman who made a mess of friendships. Because I didn't want him to look at me the way he was looking at me now. Like he didn't know me at all. We barely spoke for days. He moved into the guest room, said he needed time. Time to sort out what it all meant. But what it meant was simple. His friend crossed a line. I stayed loyal. I stayed silent. I stayed by his side. But he couldn't see it that way. The worst part? Derek denied it. Said I was drunk, flirty, that I came on to him. And Cole didn't say if he believed that. He just looked exhausted. Like my truth was too much for him to hold. One night, I stood in the kitchen and asked him, asterisk, do you really think I'd make this up after 10 years just to ruin your friendship? Asterisk, and all he said was, asterisk, I don't know what to think anymore, Kendra. Asterisk, that broke me more than anything. Because all I ever wanted was for him to believe me. Now we live like ghosts in the same house, circling each other, waiting for that final conversation neither of us wants to have. And the saddest part? I don't regret telling him. I regret that he wasn't the kind of man who could hear it and hold me through it. People talk about honesty like it's the key to everything. But sometimes honesty is the very thing that shatters you. I waited 10 years to protect him, to protect us. And now the truth is out, and so is his loyalty. If someone tells you their pain, don't question the timing. Don't pick apart the details. Just listen. Listen to the courage it took for them to say it at all.